it's your problem. What is this, Nazi Germany or Soviet Russia? I mean, folks, they're already censoring the internet. They're setting that up the same way China phased it in. The free speech zones, that started in Russia, then China. Listen, if you study this, Mr. Skelton, and you're there reading propaganda documents right now, that they phase this stuff in. If you're reading Goebbels' diaries, you see he talks about that.
Yeah, I mean, information is the key thing, the holding back or sharing of information. And, you know, insofar as the internet allows a sharing of viewpoints, of differing viewpoints and of information, different information, you know, the key word being different, you know, that's great. I don't know how long that difference is going to last. And I'd like to make a serious point here, which is that, you know, it's very difficult to categorize the alternative media and people with alternative viewpoints as one thing. Whereas Bilderberg, they're sitting there and they are strategizing, and they, you know, there is whatever you might think is happening, whatever you characterize the Bilderberg meeting as, you have to agree that some strategizing, some ideas, some forward thinking is being done. I mean, whether you think it's benign, malign, whatever. So this kind of strategy.
Oh no, power brokers.
Yeah, I know. But these broad.
They don't get together and talk about power.
Sure, I know. So what? But you know, on the point from you know, you turn it around and you see what people like you and other alternative voices are saying. It's very difficult to strategize against that kind of serious, big money, you know, strategizing that's going on their side. And you know, one of the difficult things is that people have differences of opinion and people disagree. I disagree with my wife about aspects of September 11th, for example. We have I disagree about certain things about, you know, the importance of gun control, and my mind is slightly changing on that, I have to admit. But you know, whilst we have differences of opinion, I think it's very important that at some point there is a coherent strategy against globalization.
Okay, listen, do 5 more minutes, then I'm going to let you go and take calls. 1 minute break, sir. We're going to start the third hour.
You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Charlie Skelton, who writes for one of the biggest newspapers in the world, is covering Bilderberg, the London Guardian. Do 5 more minutes with him. The total phone blitz and news blitz coming up. Then a guest about the government kidnapping children en masse. A state representative will be joining us. But I want to be clear and also let you know now what you've stepped into, Mr. Skelton, because we're not making this up. You'll probably be stuck on a no-fly list now. And this is how the globalists operate. It's unnamed. They won't tell you why you're on it for the rest of your life. With Interpol, UK, US, you're on file for daring to work for a big newspaper and go cover world leaders meeting to set the future of the world. With all the big bank ministers in secret, with helicopters and guys with machine guns. Now think about how butt backwards that is. You know, here we are trying to cover this, and they make it like we're the bad guys. You know, they make us go through the airports and thumb scan and face scan and take our shoes off and be body scanned and be searched and ask questions. But then they just fly in private jet, helicoptered in. The police and military we pay for then protect them to carry out their crimes against our nation. And there's no doubt. I mean, one Bilderberg, remember, I know, was under indictment, and he's involved grabbing the Texas power plants, and he's Pakistani. He's involved grabbing the roads and the NAFTA highways. I mean, these guys come in, buy off governments, and have the governments hand them everything. Same thing the Nazis did that you were mentioning. So that's how they operate. And now they have these new hate lists. And now they want to put American gun owners on list without ever saying why you can't own a gun. I mean, this is tyranny, and we have to go ahead and just recognize it and deal with it. Any final comments on that and any other observations about where they're meeting, the security they've got at Bilderberg 2009 in Athens, Greece?
Well, as for that, I might keep my distance a little bit more, even tomorrow. Maybe just wander off a bit, so I'll steer a little bit clear.
No, it's too late. Too late. They've already arrested you twice. That was just to bring you in and identify and get you in the slave grid. Now you don't have. Now you just got to fight them. Go ahead.
Well, you remind me. A last thing I would say is that when you're talking, I thought about the writings. Well, when they're written down, the writings of Bill Hicks. the late great comedian, who in his stand-up routines was making some very, very serious points about exactly what you're talking about. And one of the things he said, for example, about the assassination of Kennedy, whatever you think about it, is he said, people, he wants to talk about the assassination of Kennedy. Other people are saying, "No, come on, that's past history." And he's going, "Come on, man, this was the president who was killed. Can we not talk about it?" Same thing with 9/11. I talked to my brother about it, and my brother goes, bless him, he goes, "That's 8 years ago. Come on, we've moved on." And I'm going, "No, hang on. There are questions to be asked. This is a big thing." So, asking questions, I think that's it's such an important thing to ask questions. Even if you find out it is X, Y, and Z, as you've been told, good. I'd love to find out that things happened as I'm told. It would mean that people weren't lying to me.
They also told us 9/11.
I ask questions.
They also told us 9/11 was the foundation of the police state and giving up our rights, and the world was different, and we had to invade all these countries. So they're always invoking 9/11. And then when we try to go, well, wait, governments have staged terror, and this looks like it's staged. Oh, that's ridiculous. That's old news. Don't discuss it. It's a dead issue. Again, they're trying to set the agenda, set the parameters of the debate, get outside the box. I got Tucker on at 8 o'clock your time tomorrow. It's 9:04 Greece time, where you're at, Mr. Skelton. What time can you come on the show for? What time can you come on tomorrow for 10, 15 minutes for an update?
Any time at all. I'm free and easy. Well, I say free. As long as I'm not under arrest, any time at all.
Let's have you on at 8:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
Would you like us to call your room, or would you like us to call your cell phone?
Do you know what? I don't know. Probably the cell phone's safer.
Well, we're linking to your articles up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com and The Guardian, and we're glad that you're joining the team. We really appreciate you, Mr. Skelton. You have a lot of courage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. And I'm going to go to your calls right now. And then coming up, scientist arrested for smuggling vials used in Ebola research into the United States. That's out of the French news agency. I mean, I see these stories every 2 or 3 days. The Army caught sneaking around anthrax. Some other government group caught with foot and mouth weaponized. Some other government group or private company trying to mix bird flu with vaccines. Top scientists saying the virus is engineered that popped up 3 weeks ago. And they're building more of these labs everywhere, more plausible deniability as they release things to have scares, to push vaccines on us, and to get more control and federalization, but also to then release real attacks in the future. We'll continue to cover Bilderberg later in the next hour. I've got a huge stack of mainstream news. This is unprecedented. We're winning. The mainstream media has gone from saying none of this existed, there's no global government, to having to admit it all. And then now they still criticize us when we talk about it? They have no credibility. They're losing credibility. And so many people are compartmentalized inside mainstream media, they're not even really bad. They were ignorant, believing the official line. They're waking up. Very, very exciting. Okay, let's go to Jared in Texas. Jared, thanks for holding her on the air.
Thanks, Alex. It's awesome to be here. I'm a first-time caller. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about something that is a little bit exciting to me. I hadn't know if you'd heard it, but do you know the history of Abraham Zapruder at all?
He's got some spook background, right?
I actually, I'm not that sure, but what I did want to point out, and I thought this was interesting, it was relevant in the sense that, it's kind of a pattern the financiers go in and they like to control both sides. They like to be able to show the horror that they do, And I was watching
I have no doubt that the establishment was filming it. I don't know if they've released those footage, but some have speculated that Zapruder, shot it, and then Time Life had it, and it was allowed to be leaked through certain people who didn't even know it was being leaked through them. But then people say, I was allowed to sneak into Bohemian Grove. And if I was unknowing. And, they just hold on just a minute, because I'm trying to explain this thought here, since you bring up this, random point here, but it's important. I snuck into Bohemian Grove because I'd read how others have been caught. And reporters always try to go in. Most of them get caught trying to get through the 3 guard fences. I went around them and got on a trolley from the parking lot. It's only past one